So for this video, I'm pretty much going to be proving an argument that doesn't matter anymore. And that argument being which one's better, the red gun or the blue gun. Because back in the old ice cavern days, there's an argument of is it better to shoot faster or to have or to have more damage, right? Because obviously the blue gun does more damage per hit but shoots a little bit slower. The red gun does less damage per hit but shoots faster, right? And the green gun's not worth it, right? But so that was kind of the argument. Now it doesn't really matter. Maybe for the Forbidden City, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, maybe for Forbidden City. Then again, if you're doing Forbidden City, getting the Iron Man gun level 2 isn't too difficult to do. But anyways, we're gonna do some math to prove it, right? So we gotta remember, in your long range, the 2 here doesn't matter. So we're gonna start off with probably the red one and then go on to the next one, right? So if I go over to Desmos here, and we do 0. It is 1, because 1 second divided by 0.75, right? We're going to put that into parentheses. That's our attack speed, right? Or how many attacks per second. We're going to multiply that by the damage, that being 17, right? So 22.6 damage per second, right? And the other one is going to be a 1 divided by 0.60. 1.60 times, I believe it's 7 damage, right? Let's go back and check real quick. Yep, 7 damage on the 0.6 and 17 there. All right, so right now looking at this, just base DPS, the blue gun's better. However, in Pixel, right, you can equip gear that increases your magic damage. So the way we're going to show that, right, if we do parentheses, right, we're going to essentially graph it out. So your constants are your attack speed right here and your starting damage here at 17. However, you're going to be adding, you're going to be adding X to that as that being your, the damage you can add, right? So same for here. This is going to be times 7 plus X. We're going to do that, right? So now if we go up, at the start, right, this should be swapped, I believe. Yeah, anyway, so the blue gun, or the blue line, is here. I'm going to actually redo this 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So the blue line here is the blue gun, and the red line here is the red gun, right? So as we start, right, you can tell that the blue gun is better, right? So here at X is 22, basically. Or as Y is 22, right? You can just see that the blue is better. However, as you get more and more added damage, it gets closer and closer until at about right here, right? So at about 33 bonus damage, all of a sudden the 2 guns are equal. And as the more and more damage you get, the better and better the red gun becomes in comparison. Because of the attack speed, right? The more damage you add, the more you're doing that damage faster. So if you are using the guns for whatever reason, if you have 33 or less magic damage, use the blue gun. You're going to be doing more. But once you get to about 33 bonus damage or more than that, you're going to want the red gun for attack speed. Like, it's just, as you can see, the more bonus damage you have, the better and better it gets. Yeah, so that's the one thing I wanted to test. And then the other thing was just comparing the big 3 swords. So I'm going to pause here real quick, just kind of as a time marker for myself. Talk about the big 3 later. Okay, so now we're going to be comparing what I like to call the big 3 swords. That being Devil Wing, Nightmare Blade 3, and Dragon's Blade 3. I debated putting Tsurugi 5 on here, but I did a video on it a while back, and it's just, its damage does not compare to the rest. So that's why I'm kind of leaving it out. So let me go to Desmos real quick, right? We've got, first off, just the raw DPS, with the Devil Wing being at a solid 350, Nightmare Blade 3 being at a 356, and Dragon's Blade 3 being at a 353, right? However, like we saw with the guns, the raw DPS isn't always the biggest indicator because, again, you have things like the Evil X Shield or Pumpkin Hat or Damage Rings. So I just wanted to see when each one's best, because obviously this one is going to start the best. However, as you add more damage, Deviline might overtake it. So we're just going to kind of see where they all lie. Right, so green is Deviline, purple is the Nightmare Blade 3, and black is the Dragon's Blade 3. So if we go to an X of 0, right, that should be about 353, right? So that's basically with no extra damage. They're all very closely tied, with Nightmare Blade 3 being slightly above, right? So, as far as extra damage goes, if I can get these to work. There we go. Once you have 10 extra damage, Deviline is better than the Dragon's Blade 3. Or it's tied, right? So once you get to 15 extra damage, right, your DPS is already higher than Dragon's Blade 3. However, it takes a little bit longer for it to even out with the Nightmare Blade 3. Which if we go all the way up over here, 35 extra damage is when Nightmare Blade 3 is better. So as long... That's actually kind of crazy. As long as you have a just normal Evil Axe Shield, not even Evil Axe Shield 2, the Deviline Sword is doing slightly more DPS. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is all the enemies have defense. So dealing more damage per hit means their defense is affecting you less. So if there's a way to include defense, these two swords, so that being Nightmare Blade 3 and the Dragon's Blade 3, would be a little higher up. But even still, once you get into the 50s, it wouldn't matter because of just the extra damage. It's just not going to matter too much. But it's kind of crazy that Deviline, the first like ultra powerful sword added, is still the best to this day. And yet it doesn't require any of the new hard to get crafting items. It's just a lot of Vulcan and Darkstones. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. The last thing I wanted to kind of talk about is I opened a mass key today, not expecting anything on my like alt account, right? Since I don't really have my main one anymore. And I got a lunar egg. So I don't know if I'm going to open it. I might just keep it as like a souvenir. But yeah. You guys have a good day. See ya.